What's up, everyone, and welcome down to Zetro's Toxic Vault. And today, a very special guest, a legend guitar player in thrash metal. But guess what? He's not from the West Coast. We finally got an East Coast guy in here to sit in the vault, and he's going to tell us about his times with the bands that he's been in through the years. He was the original guitar player of Overkill, but he's in California now because he has now joined Vio-lence. We're going to talk about all those things, and I am talking about Mr. Bobbie Gustafson. How are you doing today, brother?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Good to have you in. So, we're going to hit on this shortly. You are here with playing in Vio-lence now. How's it feel? And when I first heard, I got to be honest with you, I said, good to be having back up to the big leagues with us.
Yeah.
It just feels, how's it feel?
It feels great.
I know, great players, huh? I love the band.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody loves the band, too.
Yeah.
Everybody really does. What a great way for you, I'd say, to come back. Not saying that you haven't been playing on projects, but for me, it's kind of a way for you to come back.
Yeah, nothing was really too successful to the level that Vio-lence was. So to come back in and be... You know, we had a whole bunch of shows set up for the whole year.
Yeah, it was,
we were set.
Great.
Just had to learn the set, and I wouldn't have gotten that before.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to get into that, and we're going to get into that stuff right now. But like I do with most of the people here, when I get them on the vault, I would like to talk about how it all happened. And I mean, obviously, Overkill was what you were known for. You that's how I know you. I know you played in Cycle Sluts for a little while. You did some stuff with Grip. Screw, and there are a couple, but I mean, basically, that was what everybody knows you from. All the metalheads know you from. But let's talk about Staten Island, right? That's where you were born, right?
Yeah.
And let's talk about growing up there, and how did we get Bobbie G? How did that happen?
How did I get corrupted?
How did you get the corruption? Was it your mom and dad? I mean, you're born in 65, so then you're 1970. You're 5 years old, so you know what's going on. Is your parents Hendrix, The Doors, where they were? Yep. Did you have older brothers and sisters?
I had an older brother. I'm the youngest. My brother was 10 years older than me. So he's the one who had the Hendrix albums, the Zeppelin albums.
Really?
And the Sabbath.
And how old were you when you actually feel that you started, you caught on to that?
Less than 9.
Than 9.
8 or 9.
8 or 9.
Yeah.
8 or 9. I contribute mine. My dad was a biker, built Harleys in his garage, and I heard Stairway to Heaven in 1972 coming over the radio, and I was hooked, and he bought me for my 8th birthday a Zeppelin 4. So, I mean, for me, it was early too. And I like to relate with a lot of the people that do, start out early like that, because I think I've spoke to a lot of musicians, and a lot of musicians say, oh yeah, it's early for me. So it's funny how a lot of us that ended up doing this, on the level and putting our lives, this is what we are, you know what I mean? Basically. And we grew up. There wasn't something that, I got into it when I was around 16, and then boom, it came like that. All of us seemed to be.
I think we all had that same band, that same era, and the same excitement. I mean, I hear Paranoid was probably the one that got.
Okay, so Black Sabbath for you.
So Black Sabbath, yeah. And then I think he had Zeppelin 3.
Immigrant Song.
Yeah, Immigrant Song, and then a couple of Hendrix albums and stuff that I would listen to, and the Who Live at Leeds and Grand Funk.
Right.
But I mean, I just Sabbath and Zeppelin kind of are the two that got it.
What was their appeal to you? What was it about those guys? Was it the guitar edge? Was it the vocal? Was it the eeriness? To me, it was both of those bands were very mysterious, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there was nothing else like Sabbath at that time.
To this day. Yeah, to this day.
Just hearing those guitar chords and the length of the songs and everything was dark, and the changes, and it gripped me right away. War Pigs, and just wanted to. That's what I wanted to do. Earlier than that, maybe it could have been the Beatles, because I remember I got a picture of myself as like 5 years old with the headphones on and the stereo next to me singing like the first Beatles album. Your mom sneaks in,
and
takes that photo.
I love the
of you.
Beatles. I have the full thing on CD. I have every single one of them. In fact, when we were on Capitol, it came in this cool box that said the Beatles, and you roll it up, and it was every album on CD, even masters, and I have it to this day. I love the Beatles.
For them to do what they did with the recording at that time.
Oh, and well, just the musical, the progression that went on there. They were great when they were like, kind of Hard Day's Night era, but they were even great on Sgt. Pepper's and the White Album. It was just,
just to span their career, how much they changed from each album, and
in a small period of time.
Yeah,
6 years,
nothing sounded the same.
64
Everything
to 70.
sounded different. Yeah, that was remarkable.
I know. So for me, I'm a big. I don't know if some of the viewers know I'm a huge Beatles fan. I just appreciate the music, the harmonies, the just the writing, everything from the beginning Beatles to the end, to Let It Be. I love it all. So what was your was it a Sabbath? Was there any first record that you had in your room that you played over and over again? Like I said, mine was Zeppelin 4. So, and I knew every little lead he did, all right, that he said, and every under thing that, what was the record for you?
It was probably Paranoid.
Paranoid.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, brought that in. And I actually remember even the first time hearing Black Dog.
Really?
Yeah. My friend had that album, and it's like, this album just came out.
The vocal at that time was the way Robert Plant sang. Nobody sang. It was amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know.
And then almost like Phil, he was saying, he was talking about AC/DC. And that's when he started to like really learn how to play. And that's about when I started to learn to play the guitar. 15-ish.
You were 15.
14. I did my first show at 15. But probably just before that.
Who handed you your first guitar? Tell us the process. Your dad take you to a store?
No, my dad had a guitar under his bed. So I used to sneak under there and grab it.
An acoustic?
No, it was actually a Kent.
Really?
Which I found out later was a sub guitar off of another Swedish, because he was Swedish, he had another Swedish company. But I used to just grab it and stand in front of the mirror, pretend I was playing. So I went from that to... My brother actually tried drums, so there were some drums in the basement. I tried them, but I wanted to run around. I didn't want to sit behind a drum kit. I wanted to run around. So I went back to the guitar, and I just stayed with it. I think I got a Sears guitar for like $25. It was like my first one until the first band we were at the rehearsal studio, and this other band that was coming after us was laughing at it. So that's when I started working and saving up, and then my first real guitar was the Fender in '81.
Okay, so let's talk about you're practicing guitar, and you're 15. You're practicing, right? 15. What's your first band? No, not even first band. What are the first guys you jam with? What was the first one? Did you play a party? Did you play the quad at the high school? Perry Strickland's sitting over there. He's laughing because Dublin High has a quad, and most of us, that was some of our first gigs. Was the first gigs? Where's the quad?
The very first gig was a place on Staten Island called Granny Funyuns, and they literally had a fire hydrant in the middle of the stage, but it was mostly the football players from high school, because my sister was dating like the star athlete. So all the football players came down. I think I was 15. It was a punk band called the Dropouts. And just the neighborhood kids, we did like some Sex Pistols and some of our own stuff, actually. And about 2 days before the show, the drummer got chickenpox. So his cousin had to sit in. He didn't know any of the songs. So we just went up there and fucking made a bunch of noise, and that was it. But I mean, we did 2 shows there, and then we broke up. We were done at like 15.
That was it for the Dropouts.
That was it. That was it for the Dropouts.
Dropouts. That was a quick. You dropped out real quick.
Real quick.
Real quick.
There was a short span of where punk was cool.
Now, at that point, as the Dropouts are dropping out, did you were you thinking, okay, now I got my eyes on some other guys, and which the next phase was Overkill, right? Was there something in between there?
Well, that's when I started to get into AC/DC. I got into them after like that whole Sex Pistols thing.
So we're talking 78, 79 around right now, probably.
About 79. And then there was a local band who did covers, Prowler, a high school band. That lasted 2 weeks. Another band called Riff Raff. That didn't last either. Just playing all covers. And then the next step was Overkill, because I told a couple friends I wanted to get in a band, and they knew that, like, yeah, there's this band Overkill who is advertising in the local paper. Like, we'll set it up because that guitar player.
So they had another guitar player.
They went through a lot even in the early days. They were constantly.
So at that point, it was Bobbie, Dee and Rat.
Yes.
And they had gone through a few guitar players, which you're saying.
Yeah, a couple local guys, even Danny Spitz, I think, was in there at one point.
Were they doing originals at that point? No,
they were a cover band.
They were a cover band.
Yeah.
So because I understand when you joined is when you were the one going, hey, we should write our own original music. How true is that?
Yeah. Oh, completely. We had the one guitar player from Riff Raff came with me. He auditioned because one of the guys they had quit. And then he wound up quitting. I said, look, I'm sick of doing this. So I can handle it myself. So we practiced on the covers. We did the Maidens and the Motorheads and the Priests.
So when you were auditioning for Overkill, did you have another odd person that you were going up against? Or was there 10 other guys trying to get the gig?
There probably was. But
there was.
Yeah, I wound up doing two auditions because I couldn't find Dee Dee's house. And I just probably started driving back then.
I love those stories.
And I got lost.
Gold. That's awesome.
They're like, it's
no GPS
late.
Back then, damn it.
They're like written down, trying to drive.
He's
My
late.
friends telling me where to go.
He's late.
Yeah, we wound up doing two auditions. We wound up practicing for 2 years in my parents' basement. And then I said...
As a 5-piece?
4. Actually, yeah. Well, the other kid lasted 2 weeks.
He lasted 2 weeks.
And then I'm like, I can handle all this myself.
And that wasn't that long that you guys were fun.
No, not at all. And then I said, we could practice in my parents' basement, and we were there for about 2 years. And I was like, I don't want to play covers, man. I could write original songs. And then slowly started, just writing all the songs that became
What year is this
first
about
two
right
albums.
now?
I was still in high school. My last year was
83, right?
Yeah. So then from 83, 84, we were writing.
Yeah, because I Feel the Fire came out in 85.
We got signed by Johnny in 84.
Johnny signed
October, yeah. But we all went to that Pyramid Studios.
Right.
So we had
Alex
to wait.
Alice.
Yeah.
We had to wait for him out. You're
yeah.
right.
But
that's how he did it back then. It was the budget. It was, the way Johnny had to go. And all the praise in the world to Johnny Z. I love Johnny Z. I mean, he did a lot for heavy metal. So and he's, even he's worked with us over the years, and he's a great guy. And I mean, people have had their things with Johnny, but I love the man to death. And if it wasn't for him, the world may have never got Metallica.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I mean, you have to give credit with him and Marcia and everybody that ever at Megaforce. And to me, and I was on Combat, and there were other independent labels. Everybody looked up to Megaforce. They were the independent label that were like the upper of the independent labels. They did have Metallica, and they also had a deal with Atlantic Records, a distribution deal, which helped, because Combat didn't, it was Relativity and Combat, and there's some record stores and some retail places that wouldn't carry independent records like that at that time, because that was everything. Now, like I said, Johnny Z did a lot for the business. Was anybody else looking at Overkill when you guys got signed by Megaforce? Was there other?
Oh, yeah.
There was.
We almost went with Torrid as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, Torrid.
They had,
Ooh. Boy, did you dodge it. What? You made the right choice. Wow.
Yeah, we had like 2 other contracts, and like Johnny's Megaforce was just way thicker than everybody else's. So it's like, well, they probably got their shit together more. So let's go with them. We did Brian Slagle first. We did the Metal Massacre.
Right. Everybody did.
Yeah. So we were on that first. That was like pretty much our first big thing, and then I think it all happened at the same time.
Talk about that. Talk about being a kid and watching your heroes play your whole life, and now you're on a compilation record.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you picked up your record and said, wow, there's our name right there? How cool was that?
It was very cool, man. Everything. Just even seeing the picture of the band in the local paper when you're going to do a show. I mean, it was like everything got a little bit bigger and more impressive, and you're just like, is this really happening?
Really?
Then we had our demo, the first time it gets played on the college radio station. It's like, yeah, we wrote that song, and now it's on the radio.
People are listening to it.
What?
I know. That's a trip.
It's a cool feeling.
All the little things are great, aren't they?
And you don't want to lose that, because that's what keeps you
hungry,
driving, hungry, humble, everything.
I agree with you 100%. I still feel that way. I still dig all the little things that I see. I'm very fortunate to be able to get to do the things that I get to do because of what the band has done. And man, I don't take it for granted at all. I love it.
I love it. The one thing now that I'm looking forward to the most is what I didn't get to do with Overkill, which was to play one of the big outdoor festivals.
Oh yeah,
they just didn't have.
They didn't do them back then.
On. No, when we were out, it was
now it's
the big.
Now
bands.
it's the norm.
Yeah,
now you'll spend a whole summer
week.
over there. You won't even do another show but a festival.
Yeah,
Every day you'll play
is.
one. We did 2 years ago in 18. Exodus played. I think it was like 34 shows and 27 of them are festivals,
really?
And it's great. Yeah, it's the thing to do.
Can't wait.
It's you're there.
Yeah, I am
it's
now.
there. Let's talk about your first gig with Overkill. Can you remember it?
Yes.
Where?
The show place in Dover, New Jersey. August 1983. Just graduated high school. We did our first show. I think it was my sisters and my cousin were there, and a couple other people.
That.
It was a decent sized place, but that was the first show.
Had an opening?
No, we headlined, which at the time too.
Right out of the gate headlining,
yes,
huh, Bob?
Because the bands back then, especially the cover bands, even Twisted Sister used to do 3 sets.
Really?
Yeah, they would do the first set was original, and then the 2 sets after it were covers and stuff. And we didn't want to do that. We convinced the club owners to say, hey, instead of us doing 3 sets, let's bring 2 bands with us, which a lot of the clubs weren't doing back then. So that's what we did. And
they were doing it here.
Were they?
Yeah,
okay,
not by 83. Come on, it was at 83. It was
every band was covered.
Laws Rocket, Exodus, Death Angel, Possessed, Death Angel, Legacy, all of those bands. Everybody was topped on.
Yeah, our scene was way slower than that. I mean, I
don't believe anybody played covers. I don't.
Yeah,
think.
we were
Barry.
all
Nobody really
freaking
played
covers.
covers. We all did.
Maybe one.
Yeah, we did originals. So I mostly, and I don't remember. Yeah, I just don't remember even Exodus or Metallica even or anybody doing that. Lost Rocket, everybody played
together.
That's why we were all driven to have to write our own music, though. So now we're in August of '83.
Yeah,
you're signed in '84. Talk about that period in between there and how you're playing clubs now. What kind of a name are you getting, and what's the buzz going through on the East Coast? Because you're not a New York band, you're a Jersey band, right?
2 of us actually were from New York because Blitz was upstate and I was from Staten Island. Rat and Dee Dee were from the same neighborhood in Jersey.
Okay, yeah, because I mean the band.
But now they consider themselves Jersey because
Jersey. So, but I mean, we always being over here, we Anthrax was New York, Chromax were New York, everybody was New York, and we were San Francisco. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I looked at it. Were you starting to pack clubs at that time, like L'Amour's? Were you playing L'Amour's yet?
No. We were booking our own shows. We got a little bit bigger each time. There was a bunch of clubs, a lot of clubs around there, so we were able to play all the time. So we kept getting bigger and bigger. We invited Johnny down, I think, to see us January of '84 at the same place, Dover, and there was a snowstorm. Old Bridge Metal Militia guys came
4
up
months later.
Yeah, 4 months later. In that time we played. There's a place called the State Theater up in New Providence, and we wound up opening for Metallica back then, and inviting Johnny down. That wasn't such a great show. A couple of weeks later in January. He didn't sign us until October, so we just kept playing all that time. We finally broke from my older sister's friend who used to babysit me, knew the owners of L'Amour's and got us in. I think our first show might have been with Wasp on a Sunday.
Really?
Yeah. And we just kept getting a little bit bigger. We were booking our own shows, and we were videotaping ourselves. Like Rat was into that. We had all our shows taped, and he was good with the demo tapes.
Yeah, he actually was.
Slowly got bigger to the point where we opened up for Anvil at L'Amour's. And Johnny came to that show. And by that time, we were primed. We were like a steamroller.
And when was this?
That was October '84.
October of '84.
Then Johnny signed us the next day from that show.
First show with the band, you played 14 months earlier, right? 14 months later, you're signing with Megaforce.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. We played almost every weekend. We had the stage show. We had, Rat's drums like up in the air. We had a whole deal worked out, lights, and we just kept getting a little bit bigger every time. Making our own shirts. I used to make the shirts in my parents' basement. I learned how to do it in high school, and I'd screen print the shirts, and we got money from that. And yeah, by that October, the next day after that Anvil show, Johnny signed us. But then we had to wait until next year to get this August. I think we went into the studio upstate before we actually started recording the first album. Then it came out by November '85.
November, right. Now, talk about the recording process. Now you're going in, you're signed to a record label. You're going in with a guy who's done a couple of cool records before, Alex Berry-Ellis. What did you think, Alex? I love Alex. He's a good guy.
We loved Alex. I mean, we got along with him like right off the bat. But Johnny was actually working with Carl Kennedy,
really,
who did Spreading the Disease. Yeah,
right.
So he was
played drums in the Rods.
Yes, yeah. And they were one of my first shows too around that area. But he did the album, and my amps wound up blowing up. Like the first day we brought them into the air conditioned studio. For some reason, they blew up. I didn't even use my own amps on there, so that wasn't really my guitar sound. And Carl did that whole album by himself, so we really didn't like it afterwards. Then we used Alex. We used Alex on Taking Over.
Oh, okay, so Carl did the first one.
Carl did the first one.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought Alex did.
Yep. Alex did the second one by himself, and then the third album was Alex and Wacko. Raven.
Yeah, right. He started working in there,
working as the engineer.
Rob Hunter.
And we recorded in Pyramid, but we mixed in LA at the Enterprise. And that was the first time we saw a big $1 million automated board, and we're like, what? We don't have to use our fingers and toes to touch faders to mix shit? So that was like, and Ozzy was doing No Rest for the Wicked in the next studio. James was up the block doing Injustice. So we were all, hanging out there, and I'm like, I'm in LA. Ozzy's in the next room. It's like, what? I'm
living the dream. Yeah. But you really are. If you think about it.
Totally.
That's, who gets to do that, right? Yeah. And who can buy that back? You can't. I mean, it's time that the story now is forever because, and then it's golden and people wish they had that. Now, Feel the Fire came out. Talk about the tour. Where did you guys go? What did you do? And what was the response like when you went out?
I think the first thing we did was the Metal Hammer tour with Anthrax and Agent Steel.
Wow.
That was like our first, we went to Europe. That was our first Europe tour for the first time, our first experience. And some of those people that we played to back then, I still talk to on Facebook now.
Really?
So you're talking 35 years ago.
Sure.
Yeah, just loyal. Not much other than that. Just we didn't even really tour the States. We went in after Feel the Fire to do Taking Over, and we wound up getting on the Slayer tour. So we went out on the Slayer tour, and that was like our first big U.S. tour.
With Slayer and
with Slayer, yeah, because they got stuck in Canada that when they used to tour in Tom's brown Camaro, and they ran out of money. So our managers owned L'Amour's in Brooklyn, so they gave them like $5,000 and said, you got to come down to the club and play. We'll lend you the money to get back home, but you got to play first. So maybe a little bit of a payback taking Overkill on tour was for Slayer. Yeah, for that little favor.
Wow. The things that you learn later, how cool is that?
Yeah. And then we wound up doing 2 other tours with them. We did Europe, and then we did the Motorhead tour with them.
Talk about that. Talk about going out with Lemmy.
Oh, man. Lemmy. I mean, I'd never seen anyone drink Jack and Coke all day, every day.
And other things all day, too.
Well, he needed to stay awake. I think the other guys did, too.
We had Rick Hudelt and I actually partook with him when we played in
You're still alive?
And in Argentina. We had to Exodus and Motorhead had to do something, and we and it was quite good, I must say. And yeah.
Which I think is why his mic was up like this.
But he was maybe
get that trip.
I never thought about that. I never thought about.
That's what that I think came from.
So it didn't roll down. Okay. But he did. He ate it.
Huh?
He ate it.
He
ate it. He took it, put it in his mouth.
Well, he was great, man. I love talking to him. I couldn't understand him, but like it would register later, what he would say.
Anytime we were around him, I was like, hear these, just to listen to him, hear his wisdom, hear his wonder, and I got.
It's like, is he insulted me or not?
I
got
exactly
what he's saying.
Well, I remember one time we were talking about something, and I called him a heavy metal band. Oh, and he got pissed. He goes, "We're not a heavy metal band. We're a rock and roll band." And I go, "But you play with heavy metal bands." He's, "I don't care who we play with." He goes, "You play that punk metal," because we play thrash metal. He called it punk metal. I was like, "You're right, I do. I love punk metal." But I mean, he did not want it called. He was not heavy metal.
No,
he's a Motorhead is a rock and roll band. They're a loud rock and roll band, but they're a rock and roll band.
I think I asked him what was the longest span you stayed up. And it was like 30-something days.
Oh, no.
He was having like a challenge with Phil, the drummer, Phil. And I think Phil finally bowed out. I think Lemmy won that contest. But yeah, and I think we had to actually cancel one show because they couldn't find anything for Phil. So he was like passed out.
He was done.
And they couldn't play. Yeah, I think it was the last show. But we were lucky enough to play with them twice because it was later on was the Psycho Sluts. So I got to spend like more time with him.
Yeah.
I think he's smart. He'd give you little words of wisdom like, he'd give the opening band as much sound and lights as you want because if you're going to take away from them, then you shouldn't be the headliner.
Right.
Stuff like that. Just little little ways.
He knew where he stood
in
in the business and his confidence. And he knew where he was at too, you know. And I mean, and what was great about Lemmy is so many stars that have gotten so much bigger, i.e. Metallica guys especially, showed him the respect that he deserved, and everybody has, from Guns N' Roses to any of the A-list bands that show that, Motorhead is a lot of the reason why a lot of us are. I mean, we say Zeppelin, we say Sabbath, we say all that, but we probably wouldn't be as metal as we are if it wasn't for Lemmy. It's the whole. What do you do when you're in your car, you've been on a long road trip, or you're in traffic, or you just can't pull over to go to the bathroom? Well, you can get yourself a P-Sport. This is made for us guys that are in the cars. You don't have to use a fucking Gatorade bottle anymore. All you have to do is get yourself one of these. And it's sanitary. You can put your little willy right in the top, pee in it. It'll hold up to 24 ounces of your piss. So if you're one of those truckers on the road, that has to pull over, or you have to go to the bathroom a lot on the road, nothing better than go get yourself a P-Sport. Cameo.com. That's where you can get a personal shout out from me. Anniversaries, birthdays, graduations, anything, I will be happy to do it. It's very personal, very one-on-one, and I like to get into the ones that I do to make you guys who are receiving feel very special. So, Cameo.com. I'm ready to give you one now. Would you like to have a 10-minute conversation with me? One-on-one, not filtered, no, nothing. Just a conversation, a Zoom call with me. Go to intro.live. Intro.live is where you can actually meet and greet your artists, favorite artists, one-on-one in their face. Ask them anything. You can ask me anything. That's the platform. Want to know about a song, a vocal technique, why I wrote this song about this, what these lyrics meant, anything. You get an actual 10-minute conversation with me. But you got to go to intro.live, set up an account, and then put your name on my waiting list. As soon as I create a couple of days or a date to do this in, Intro will send you a message saying that I've got some availability, and then you can pick for yourself if the timing works right for you. But the only place to do that is Intro Live. Hope to talk to you guys. And at this point now, you're a machine. You guys have been together for a few years.
Yeah.
It's a solid unit. It's definitely a unit to be reckoned with. This new sound that has emerged in the metal world called thrash metal. You are one of the forefronts on it, because I was in Exodus at the time, so I knew all the other bands that were right up there. Talk about that time. Talk about writing and the camaraderie of the band. How were you guys clicking at that time?
Everything was still good. Rat was in the band,
Right.
for the first 2 albums. So that wound up being his last album. But we had done a Halloween tour for 2 months in Europe, everywhere in Europe. Great tour.
And they're a big band over there.
Yeah, they were
That was
really
I'm
exploding on that
I'm
album.
sure that's why. What was Keeper of the Seven Keys?
Yeah, part 1.
Yeah, part one. Yeah, because they did too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was Kai was still in the band, right?
Kai was in the band.
Yeah,
I think
so-
they had Iron Maiden's management.
Yeah, Rod Smallwood. He
Yeah.
definitely, because we did Headbangers Ball with them, and Rod was still managing
Was he?
them. Yes,
I didn't even
Yep.
know that. Yeah, they were great. We had a lot of fun with them. The tour was great. We finished that, and we had the Megadeth tour on Peace Cells. So we were home for about 3 days, and we went down to Tampa and started with Megadeth, and did another 6 weeks with them.
Because you played in San Jose here at a venue,
That was supposed to be the last show.
the Bronco, but they don't do. It's all Latin music now. It's
Is it?
like, yeah. There's no.
That was the very last show of the tour. I think we all started drinking early. 'Cause I don't think Megadeth wanted to play, so they were going to go home, and the club asked us if we would play, and still do the show. So we agreed to do the show. We did the show. That wound up being Rat's last show. You know, we did one more actually at L'Amour's, like a goodbye show for him, but that wound up being like his last show when he told us he was leaving. We're like, what the hell's going on? You know,
What happened there? Talk about that.
I don't know. He says he didn't like the road and he was drinking too much. I think it was more he missed his girlfriend, which later became his wife. We didn't really, communicate too well after that or whatnot. But
That happens to a lot of people, Bob.
Yeah.
Even to now, especially at our age that we are touring.
yeah, I mean,
The
the
people
road.
don't want to do this.
You think it's
because
going to
of
be
that.
something different, and
They
you think you're going to be pampered.
They're going to see MTV, and it's going to be like,
Yeah,
and it's so not like that. I mean, that when
No.
people come, my friends come out and go, they'll come with us even today after 4 or 5 days. They're like, how the hell do you do this for 6 weeks?
Yeah.
It's like, it's what I have to do. It's part of my job. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's
Yeah, I mean,
you take the good with the bad, like in everything. Honestly.
and at that point, I don't know if we even had. No, we were still touring in campers. We didn't even have a bus yet.
yet,
So you're sleeping on your luggage. AC never works. You got the whole band and the crew showering in the same room. You're sleeping on the floor, some cockroach hotel. It's like,
Yep.
wait a minute, what happened to the dream? It was like, what
Yeah.
the fuck? No, that's not it. So it might have been a little too much for him. And he just had enough. So
He never really did anything musically after that, did he?
he had like a little local band he was playing with.
Because he did some video stuff. He actually
And then
put
he tried
some of
some
that
video
stuff,
shit,
some
yeah.
of that stuff that you guys did on the road. He had
Yeah,
a video
he
of
had-
Rat Skates.
He did something like his own little Born in the Basement thing.
Yeah, I
and
saw
he-
that, yeah.
he may have
Been
done
out-
another.
Yeah.
There was like a thrash thing that came out with all the bands in it. I think he had his hands in that, but I haven't spoke with him in years.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. So then what happens after that? And how are you guys feeling, the three of you, now going, okay, well, Rat just quit. We're kind of still on our upswing. What do we
Yeah.
do now?
Exactly. I mean, it was a shock to us. We didn't know where it was coming from, so we had to keep going. So then we started holding auditions. I think at L'Amour's, we found a guy because I think the very next tour after that was with Testament. So we found a guy, Mark, who had learned the songs well enough. He was a real good drummer. Learned the songs well enough to go out, and we went back out on tour again. Did a little summer tour in a van through Texas with no AC. All of us in the van.
And you're still alive.
Laying on top of our duffel
God.
bags, and we made it through that tour. And then there was an incident where we were in Texas, and a chair broke in a restaurant. One of our roadies fell, and they thought we were effing around with it. It's like, no, he just sat on it and broke. He leaned back and it broke. They called a bunch of cops. They surrounded the van, and they're questioning our roadie, and the drummer starts rolling a joint right there. We're like, dude, what are you kidding me? We're in Texas.
Oh, my God, in
So
Texas.
yeah, so when we got home, he got his walking papers, and we had held auditions again.
Oh, no.
Which brought us to Sid.
Sid.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then he wound up staying with. I think he was friends with the lighting guy and our sound guy that were also from upstate, and he was up there. So then he was next, and he was in the band.
So now you guys decided to start writing the Years of Decay right after this? Or
Under the
you already
Influence was next. That was Sid's first album.
Under the Influence.
Yeah. So we had some stuff down. I had some riffs that I got off of, sound checks at tours and stuff like that. But that was our weirdest kind of period, having a new drummer. And he blew right away as far as like timing and tuning his drums and being in the studio. I mean, he was flawless with that. And we actually got better having him in the band. It stepped us up because now we're really tight live, which, it was kind of iffy before. But yeah, that one album, I think Didi had a couple of riffs on that, and he was like really into Anthrax. So kind of some stuff I think I didn't really agree with, and it kind of sounded a little different, and that's the one we mixed out in LA, recorded upstate and then mixed in LA. But there's a lot of great stuff on there, but it's probably, out of the 4 that I did, it's probably the least favorite from people, so it is what it is.
That happens. We have one of those.
I think everyone does.
We have one of those. Yeah, we know. Actually, I do on this show here, and the fans have been hitting up. I go over every one of my records, and I talk about the recording process and what we were thinking at the time. And that one's like next, and you should see him. We want to know what you think, and I just kind of held back because there's that one record where it's the only Exodus record. There's songs on there I actually cringe when I hear.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And to some other people, no. I mean, I talk to other artists that think it's the greatest record, and some people, I'm talking about Force of Habit, and and some people are just like, Anyway, I know how that is.
Yeah.
But so did you tour for that? Did you do any touring of
That
that?
was that's when we had the Slayer Motorhead tour. We did through the States.
How many dates?
Probably same thing, about 6 weeks. So
With Lemmy every day for 6 weeks?
Yeah, man.
How great is that?
Exactly.
I know.
Hell yeah.
I'll
Slayer
sit in a van.
and Motorhead?
I'll sit in a van for
Yeah,
that. Are you kidding
yeah.
me? I get to see this every night.
But yeah, that's when we kind of, we got some money going. We stepped up and we said, look, we don't like one of us driving an RV. We don't feel good at 3 a.m. You can't sleep, but we need a bus. So we finally got our bus. That might have been the first tour we actually had one.
And we're talking 88?
Was it 88? Yeah, probably.
About 88.
Yeah, probably about 88.
88.
And that, that was a good tour. We went all across
Did you
the
do
States
Europe?
again. We did Europe again, I think, with Slayer, not with Motorhead.
No, with Motorhead.
But we may have gone, I think we may have gone there on our own and did some shows here and there on that album.
In the time of no festivals in Europe,
Still no festivals.
Unbelievable.
Scorpions and Whitesnake rule the day.
Yeah, that's what it is now.
Yeah.
You may play with Scorpions and Whitesnakes on a gig. You know what I mean?
Your name is like this big.
Sometimes. No, not really. No.
I think Metallica's probably the one that broke. Being the first one getting in all those festivals.
Well, there really wasn't all those festivals. Now there is.
Yeah, there was 2 a year.
Yeah.
You didn't get on. That's it.
Now there's 10 a weekend
Yes.
in every different country going. Yeah. They got them going
Names
on.
get so small towards the bottom you can't even read them.
Depending how you're doing. As long as you got new material come out, you keep your name hanging up there. But
luckily Vio-lence is like up here.
I've been very fortunate that the logo is very noticeable. So it always, I have to every once in a while see it down there, but for the most part, the logo's usually where you can see it.
Yeah, I know.
So that's good. Got to see that.
Yep.
So talk about the writing of the Years of Decay, because to me, that was the record.
Yeah.
I love that album.
Like I said, I did. I wasn't too happy with a lot of stuff on the third album, so it sounded a little too happy to me. So I went darker, and I just kept everything dark. And I wrote all the material on that album, and just I was flying, man. Things were going great. I had the album cover concept. I had all the what I wanted for pictures, what I wanted to sound like. We had Terry Date, which was the first time we used Terry, and we went away from Pyramid. We went and recorded in Connecticut, and The other albums was like, yeah, we try and get everything to sound good together. This one, I put my foot down and saying, look, we're getting the guitar sound first, and everything else is going to work around it. I said, because I'm on my 4th album now, and I'm not happy with any of the guitar sounds. So he's like, yeah, that's cool. And he didn't put up a fuss with anything. He worked, really well with us. We got that
shit
sound.
He's done too.
And and then after that, he exploded from that album.
God, yeah, with everything.
But I had, I had all that material saved up. I always just make a collection of riffs until I get them all together, and then that just wound up being perfect. Having Terry go into a different studio, we had that SSL board, which is automated, which we never had before, and it just all worked. It just all worked. It's one of those times where everything just falls into place.
Well, I think even the fans will agree that exemplified Overkill. I mean, you were banging on all cylinders as far as really coming out with killer songs with your own sound, your own identity. This is you had Anthrax obviously there, but Overkill set. There was Overkill. And when you listen to Overkill, you can. Blitz's voice is very distinctive. Your guitar player is very distinctive.
Like you too.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. When you hear it, you know who he is right off the bat.
Yep.
Which I think is sometimes a better compliment than being able to actually be a good singer. I guess that's my cop out, and I'm sticking to it too. I guess that, but at that point, you guys are firing, and there was only really about a year left. Talk about the last year.
Yeah, we went through, that whole album. We went out and toured on our own in the States.
How was everybody doing at that time with each other? I mean, we're 4
fine.
albums now. We've been stuck in vans together for 4 years. How are we getting along? How's our camaraderie?
I remember talking to Dee Dee almost every day. I mean, there was always something happening. We were always on the phone. There was no ill feelings at all. I mean, we just kept getting bigger as a band.
Right.
We wound up selling out the Ritz, the old Studio 54.
I remember the Ritz.
And that was like over 3,000 people. So that's the biggest show that we had done. We kept getting bigger audiences, and it was like perfect. Okay, the album's done. We did one last show. We did a benefit for a young girl up in North Jersey that wanted to be in my physically last show with them. It was an outdoor show. We started to get ready to do the 5th album. I think Dee Dee had some riffs. I had some riffs. I even have a videotape, I think, at my parents' house where we were trying to put stuff together. I wanted to, remember it, so I was kind of videotaping to have it. But they wanted to do a Halloween show at L'Amour's just for money, because Anthrax used to do that. They would play before Christmas, get Christmas money. And Dee Dee got wind of that, and he wanted to do the same thing, but he didn't want to do a real Overkill show. He wanted to play some covers, goof around. I said, well, if you're going to do that, you can't charge the full price of an Overkill show.
Right.
I mean, that's not right. We're not giving them an Overkill show.
Were you playing any Overkill music at all?
Yeah, we were going to do about half and half. So, I mean, I didn't agree with it, and just arguments.
Not so bad. I think the novelty of seeing you, at least you're playing Overkill songs, and but I mean, I understand. I totally understand.
Yeah, I mean, we were getting ready for the 5th album. We just sold out in New York, and I'm like, let's leave them with that memory, not Blitz getting drunk and doing covers and like just a big mess. I'm like, I don't want that to be our last memory. So, the argument got more and more heated on the phone to the point where I'm like, well, don't book the show because I'm not going to go. I'm not going to be there. And then that was kind of it. I guess that was their final straw. And
but was it a straw? Was there a lot of straws leading
up
to it?
There was other stuff. I mean, at one point, Dee Dee even quit. He didn't want to do it anymore. And he was gone for like 2 weeks. And me and Blitz were talking about getting a bass player.
And then
then he came back. So we took him back, and the roles got reversed. All of a sudden, they wanted me out. So, and there's a lot of probably little stuff and a lot of monetary things that happened that were done behind my back, and this, that, and the other, and it was just like, you know what, I'm done. I says, we got bigger each album, we doubled each album's sales, we got bigger as a band with each album, and now you're throwing a wrench in the gear for one show at L'Amour's. So I had enough. So that was.
And that was the final straw.
Yeah, I think
When
that
was that,
it.
Bob? What was there? That was 90,
That
right?
was 90, about 90. Yeah, because I know the outside show was October, so this probably happened about December, January 90 into 91.
Okay, so you're fed up. You left the band. Mm-hmm. What's going through your head right now? You've been a musician and did all these records for the last 4 years. Did you feel it's like, oh shit, I just wasted my time? Am I going back home and go find a job because I don't want to do this anymore? Am I going to try to piece another band together?
Just start another band.
Yeah.
So I started Eye for an Eye. And
weren't you going to use Tom in there, right? At that time?
Yeah, I had 2 Eye for an Eyes. One was the East Coast, and then before I came out here.
Yeah, because you lived here for a little while.
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah,
a little over 2 years. But that was the next step. All right, get another band together. We wound up going out playing shows. During that time, towards the end of that band, I think was the final straw with them was when I was going to audition for James when he got burned. And that was the last show I had done with them. I got into something with them that night. But we still played our show. We got through that. Along that period is when the Cycle Sluts called. They needed someone to do a solo. And then the gods are looking at me again. We got a tour with Motorhead for 2 months. You want to come? Hell yeah.
We played some shows with the Cycle Sluts. They're fun.
They're fun, yeah.
Fun.
And I'd known them for years, even before I had joined the band. So I'm like, yeah, fuck, Eye for an Eye. I'll go out with you.
So now I got to talk about something, and I'm sure people are a bit curious. Back in the day, if you were to take you and James Hetfield and put you guys' picture up next to each other,
I was a better looking one. That's all I
okay, so that's
say.
what you're gonna say. Okay, so I'm glad you said that you're the better looking one, because I mean, I would look and go, it was you guys look pretty close. Guitar. Shit. Now, I mean, I'm not saying you didn't do it first. You know what I mean? I'm not giving you that. He stole your look, because that was...
Well, not all of it. I mean, he's actually the one who recommended the guitars.
He did. Okay.
And I got my Gibson, and they gave me the White V, White Explorer. Still play them. Love them to death. But sometimes you can do something first, but you don't reach as many people as someone who hits 1 million people. So they think he did it first sometimes, and you're just still on the ground.
It's just like, you guys, like, if I would see a picture, I'd be like, oh my, Bobbie and James are like, and I'm not giving you any, I mean, because I love James as well. I mean, it's a great look. Both you guys hold your guitars down where you're supposed to hold them, down to your fucking knees. It's a hella heavy look, but I mean, it was kind of,
everything, man. I'm sorry. The hair looked.
It was
similar.
Fucking dead. That's the armband.
That was a Misfits thing.
That was the okay. So
but the other guys in the band, we were wearing that stuff for years.
I'm not saying you, again. There's my disclaimer. I'm not saying you didn't. I just had to bring that up because it was something that was that, I mean, me as a fan, as a music fan, say, wow. In the same genre, going, wow, James could play in Overkill. Bobbie could play in Metallica, no problem.
I'll take that paycheck.
I bet you would. So would I. And I don't even play guitar. What's up, everybody? And I'm very fortunate to have such great people that sponsor this show. One of my very, very first sponsors has been Death Wish Coffee. Jeff Ayers and all of the people at Death Wish Coffee have been so great to me, and they are the ones who give us all the stuff to send to all of you guys. So if you need some zippy in the morning or some zippy at night, this stuff has got some balls to it. So get some Death Wish Coffee. Tell me what you think. I have my own hot sauce. It's called Zetro's Toxic Shock. Where can you get it though? Well, now that I'm not necessarily on tour anymore, you have to go to HellaHotHotSauce.com and get your Zetro's Toxic Shock there. Now, I know a lot of you have had it and bought it when I was on tour and love it. And if you miss it, that's what you're going to have to do. Kyle Colson has so many other flavors and so many different heats. You'll find one that you like. A lot of other artists also have hot sauce through, so you might check his catalog out. But if you want to get some Zetro's Toxic Shock, go to HellaHotSauce, HellaHotHotSauce.com. megaforce.com and get you some today. But and talk about you. So you were going to go in and play just guitar when he burned himself.
Yeah.
Did you audition ever?
Yes.
You did.
They had called me. Tony called me, their road manager at the time, and gave me the entire set list to learn in 2 days. So I had like 18 songs. But I didn't know. I knew bits and pieces of Metallica. I couldn't get my way through an entire song. That's just not what I did. I didn't learn other people's stuff. So they probably thought I knew it. I did the last show, which I should have canceled, but I did the last show with Eye for an Eye, and they were flying me out to Denver to audition. And I said, well, I can't learn all these songs. I'm like, what am I going to do? So I tried to learn the changes off the vocals. I said, let me get really into the vocals and I'll get all the changes in. I was supposed to leave Newark Airport. There was a downpour for like 10 minutes and it delayed my flight for like 4 hours. So I wasn't getting into Denver till really late. And James was still in pain then. So he didn't wait. He left. So they canceled it for the night and we went the next day. I'm like, oh, great. I got some time to work on this stuff. But then the next day he didn't even show up. So, and then they auditioned on 5 songs. So I'm like, oh, why didn't they just tell me the 5 songs? I could have spent all that time learning them instead of spreading it out.
Right.
So, yeah, he wasn't there the next day. It was just me, Kirk, and Lars, and Jason.
So it was between you and John Marshall then? It wasn't like 5 other guys?
John, I think they kind of knew, would be the backup plan if nobody else worked out. Because I think Pepper auditioned.
He did.
I know, Mike from Flotsam was there the same time I was.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, he tried out too. And there may have been like, a couple others, just a handful. They kept it tight because they had to get it done and get back out on the road. So, yeah, I missed out on that. That probably would have been pretty cool. That would have been my first outdoor stadium rocking show.
You got one waiting for it. They're waiting for you.
Now I do.
My son's band was actually playing with you guys this year on one of them. Was it Perry Beyond the Grave? One of the one in Belgium, I think. Hatred.
Yeah.
Alcatraz. Yeah, Hatred was on there with you, my kid's band. Yeah. They would have been playing.
Yeah, I met him at Dan Riley's house.
So now I know that you moved to California for a couple of years, and what brought you out here? I know what brought you out here. Tell everybody else what brought you out here.
Billy Milano. Me and him in his car. We were going to do an MOD record. We actually started putting some riffs together along that same time period as the Psycho Sluts and everything. And Billy had his eyes on Perry. So we packed up and came out here, set ourselves up. We were going to start recording and putting things together. We got an apartment for like 2 months in Concord. And within 2 weeks, Billy left. He's like, oh, Johnny Z's not funding the album anymore. I'm going home. I said, well, I kind of like it here, and we paid for the apartment, so I think I'll stay for a little while before I go home. Kept my stuff here, and
2 years later, huh?
And 2 years later, I wound up. We were going to Debbie Abono's house every day, and Billy would just drink a pot of coffee, and be Billy. And I'm like, here I am sitting down, like watching him bounce off the walls, and then I knew Debbie, she knew me. We kind of like got more, familiar with each other. Yeah. And then, within that 2 month time period, after hanging out with her and her family, they're like, well, why don't you just move in? I was like, all right. So 2 years later, I was living out in Concord. And
loving California.
Best time of my life just being out here with them. I mean, she treated me like family.
She was the greatest.
Yeah, took me on vacations
with
her family. I mean, I was like,
everybody who comes in here can have a Debbie Abono story.
Yeah.
It's great.
Absolutely.
It's great. So you came out here, Bully Dance didn't really work all that well. You moved back to New York and then went to Florida?
No. I stayed here. I tried Eye for an Eye again with John Torres and Tom. Your drummer, Tom. So we had some songs. We did a demo. We tried doing, handing that out. There was a couple of good songs on there, but that just didn't pan out. Then I think we were going down. Remember those concrete conventions?
Yes,
in L.A. I went down there, and I'm still friendly with Dave and Lombardo. So he was like, "Oh, I'm putting a band together. Why don't you, you're in California. Why don't you come down?" So we started trying to put some stuff together too. I would travel from here down there, drive to his house out in Victorville in the desert.
Was that Grip though? Wasn't Grip?
That was Grip.
It was
yeah.
Grip.
I named it Grip. He liked it. We had a singer, and me and just Dave and me, and we were just trying to put stuff together. And I think the final straw was like something with me and his ex-wife. I think she was blaming me for like hair in the shower or something. And it was like his bass player had these hairy ass Italian legs, and I'm like, I didn't even take a shower yet, So I'm like, I don't need this. I'm like, fuck it. I'm driving 8 hours down here to get yelled at by your wife. So that was the end of that. And he continued on. He got some
now,
other
did you
guys.
do any gigs with Grip at all? Ever?
No, we didn't have a song done yet, and it fell apart.
What year is this now? We're talking
94 maybe.
94.
About 94. And then through Debbie, all the bands that she had managed, Screw was one of her bands. They were in Austin, Texas, and their guitar player split while they were in the studio. So they needed more guitar tracks and stuff. And they're like, oh, could you come down? I was like, yeah. Went out and met them in El Paso, laid down tracks, and they're like, hey, we have this 2-month tour with Creator coming up. You want to go on that? I was like, yeah, sure. So I wound up living in Austin for 9 months.
Wow.
After the tour.
What a great place. Austin's great too.
It was great. I mean, I had a good time there.
Austin's a music city, so it's fun.
Very much so. But that wound up not going so great on the tour, I don't think. Just clashing and having 2 bands on the same bus and crew.
Yeah.
It was a little tight. So.
What band were you on the bus with?
With Screw.
Oh, you were.
Creator was.
Creator and Screw were on the same bus
on
together.
the same bus together.
Oh,
with
my.
both crews, yeah. So that wasn't fun. And then after that, shortly after that, I went down to Florida. I went back to New York, grabbed my stuff, and I was off for Florida.
What brought you to Florida, Bob?
My parents had a condo they had bought years before, and one of my sisters had moved down there. And then from being on tour, it was always like nice. Every time I was there, I was like, this is great, man. The weather's great. The ocean's there. I'm like, I got sick of New York. And
were you done with the business at this point?
I was for a while. Yeah, I'm like, I got to get my shit together, because with Screw, I'm like, sleeping on the floor, sleeping on people's couches, and I'm like,
right.
I'm like 34 at that point. I'm like, I need to get my shit together.
Right.
I need a roof over my head. My brother-in-law was already down there, so he hired me, started plumbing with him, getting a salary, getting a house,
That's
doing
good.
that whole thing. And then, kind of the internet comes around, and people are like, hey, you should start playing again, and
I sat out for a good 9 years.
Yeah.
Actually, Perry and I had a little project. I was working as a union. Everybody knows I was a union carpenter.
Yeah.
Right when I got back into Exodus in 2014, I had just received my 20-year pin from the union.
Amazing.
So it's just, you had to do what you had to do. I had a wife and 3 young kids.
Yeah.
You had to take care of the business. People thought, what I thought it was when I was a kid didn't. There was probably so many things where I said, This isn't what was on the cereal box. Wait a minute. This wasn't what was on the box on the toy. Wait. When I looked at the record labels and the records, all the collage pictures, they were having such a great time.
Yeah, making money.
Why didn't I get this? What happened to me? So, there's a bit of bitterness to it, but I love music, and I always did. So I always continued on. I did do from 93 when Exodus finally stopped until... What was that, Perry? 99 or 2000?
Yeah.
About 2000, and I sat out.
They started without you while we were doing F-bomb.
Yeah.
That got us going, and then we both jumped back in.
Yeah, I didn't. 7 years I coached baseball and did coach soccer and went to work every day. That was it. Didn't even play music.
It's been 20 years since I was down there plumbing. I did different things. I tried electric, house painting, and then back to plumbing again. It's like, it's been 20 years now. You got to earn a living. You got to take care of
what you got to do.
Yeah, exactly. And now with the internet, and a band from Italy wanted me to do a solo, and they were like, "You could play and just send it to us." And I'm like, "What? Yeah, all right. I don't have to."
It's the greatest thing ever.
And that got me thinking. It's like, okay, could play with guys that are not even in the same state. Because when you were younger, you looked for the kids in your neighborhood. You were going to play with the kids in your neighborhood.
Sure.
That's just what you did.
That's all you knew.
Yeah.
You didn't know that
You weren't driving yet.
You didn't know that you could play a guy with a guy in New York. You know,
Yeah.
that would have never even you never thought of
Completely
that.
changed the ball game.
Totally, it totally changed the ballgame.
Yep.
It totally. So when I remember on Tempo of the Damned, you had a band that opened for us in Miami Beach, or one of the places. Your band opened for Exodus on tour during Tempo of the Damned, 2002, 2004 maybe.
Was that
It was in Florida.
that might have been Response Negative?
It might have. It was in a club that night. You were supporting Exodus. I don't know what I thought it was called. Eyes. Was there? Did you just have a band called Eyes?
No.
Then maybe it was Response Negative. It was like it was a
I
club
think
show
we
with
did.
Exodus.
I think we did somewhere.
Yeah.
The last time I seen you play was at a titty bar in Fort Lauderdale. Do you remember that? About probably 4 to 5 years ago.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
40. Oh, I remember.
Yeah,
that.
I went down
Yeah,
there. I was the one sneaking pictures over my shoulder of the girls on the pole.
Yeah, I remember that was.
That was the first time I was ever there. I didn't even know they had bands. Never been at that club.
They did. Brian Warner brought us down there.
Oh, did he? Okay.
He was booking that. You know Brian.
Yeah.
He was booking that.
Oh, yeah,
so.
that was a big place.
It was great, but I never
Crowded
played on
as hell.
stage when
Girls
were on
sliding down a
poles in
pole,
front of
yeah.
me. I wouldn't be watching me. I would be
oh.
watching them.
It's like, oh, she's hot. Selfie
I
time.
couldn't
Selfie
even-
time
I couldn't
again.
even- I couldn't even. I was like singing, and they're like, it was like a fucking circus going on. I'm like, bonded by blood. Bonded by blood. Yeah, that's it.
That was very
That was
strange.
it. That was it.
That was a great show.
That was a lot of fun. It was a lot. So, I mean, you've been flying under the radar, and now we're going to get into it. You got a call in January. Talk about the call.
An old friend of mine, some guy I'm staying with now. I don't know, this guy Perry. They're like,
Yeah, you almost had a band with him for like 2 weeks, like 40 years ago or something like that.
It took us 35 years to start a band, but
Exactly.
we finally got one. Yeah, they're like, hey man, we're putting a band together. It was like, no. Yeah, they were.
So Perry was the first one to call you then.
Yes. He's like, would you be interested in learning the songs and coming out and playing? Yeah, I was like, hell yeah. Yeah, so I had my own little thing in Florida, but I'm like, to be at that level, this band,
and I have to tell you something, because again, this is coming from Killian on Command when Sean was sick, and then we this gig that we all had participated in, and then last March, was it March, right, Perry? Was it March or April? They came back and did a show in Oakland, 2 shows, and to see the response from the people and the people all over the world. And now when I go on the road, because we just brought Death Angel and we were just out with Death Angel and Testament, it's like, oh, Bay Area, bring Vio-lence with you. You need to bring Vio-lence with you. And it's like, so knowing that there are bands that have gotten back together and, gone out, but I've never, to be honest, never seen the buzz that Vio-lence got when they got back together. And I don't know if that comes from Sean being sick, and being able to come through it, or Phil leaving Machine Head and putting Vio-lence back together. But the buzz on them and the buzz everywhere is like, didn't you guys sell more shirts than anybody at a festival last year, and you should have brought 4,000 more or some shit like that? Exactly. That's when you see me doing that, guys. I'm talking to Perry, who's hanging out with the spider right now. But just to hear that, and to hear that when they did the in-store that you have to do, because when you do the festivals, you have to agree to a signing session, but they're actually fun as hell.
Yeah.
That there was more people for them than anybody that weekend that played. So to be that excited, to hear these kinds of things, for me being their friends, and for years going, oh, come on, would you guys get back together already? I'm in the I'm back with the mothership. I can see what's going on here. If you do this, it's now nostalgia, and people want it. And they're so fascinated by Bay Area thrash, let alone, and there's so many still of us still doing it. That's why that tour did really well, to see all that stuff. And then and nothing. I love Ray. I loved him when he was a punk guitar player in a band called Social Unrest. I loved Ray. You fit this if they found somebody who could come right in. And for me, I played in my first band with Phil and Metal Warrior in 1983 on parole. Actually, I think it was. And I put the photo up last week.
Is that the photo in the quad?
No, it's the photo of me on my brother's Harley with Danny and Phil. And it's great. Oh yeah, old school the whole way. To see that and see that you've come in to accent Phil as well as draw the whole guitar thing out. Again, nothing against Ray. I'm excited for what Vio-lence is doing right now. Talk about that. Talk about, have you written a song with them yet? Have you actually, is there new material? I heard there's a little bit of new stuff going on. Have you experienced that yet?
Yeah, we've got a couple songs. Phil is really taking the reins. He's got so much material.
Yeah, he does. And he knows how to do that too.
Yes.
He's very good at facilitating his writing and how to get everybody and get it and this is what we're doing and it's good to have somebody like that.
Yeah. I mean he knows what he wants and that's the best thing.
Gary, so I know exactly
It's
what
like,
that's
no, do it
like.
this way.
I don't have to think about it. He thinks he knows how it's going to go.
Yeah, so I mean we didn't get a chance to really write yet, but we will. I mean we're going to do more stuff in the future. We're going to get his ideas out now, get his plan out and get these songs. The songs are freaking great. There's about 3 of them done. We got to get 2 more. Just get it together. He's got plans for all that, signing the Metal Blade and getting that whole ball rolling. And once that gets done, we'll sit together and bash stuff out. And
right, it's always a good period to learn how the river flows. Then jump in the boat and start.
Going. Yeah, exactly. Totally. Follow the current for a little while.
I mean, again, to hear that, when I get to hear these things before some other people do. And I was on a gag order. Sorry, I'm not selling who told me that. But I was told, and I was like, no fucking way. And I was like, welcome back to the ranks. Welcome back to where you belong. And to me, it's like, I guess if you can't be with the mothership free and them, I'm meaning Overkill, if that's not, in the cards to do that, it's great to see you. With Vio-lence and with how heavy and it's great to have that you guys are like East Coast and West Coast connection now.
Coast,
you know what
West
I mean?
Coast,
East Coast, West Coast, baby. So that it's good to have you back doing that and have you've done a couple of live shows, haven't you?
We were about to. We got everything.
So that hasn't happened.
We got everything canceled. Yeah, we had the big show here at Oakland.
Oh, that would have been
this whole year's canceled.
You back, yeah. The
whole year's canceled. Yeah, I think the first shows were going to start in February. So I was, crunching to get these things down. They already had Japan, Australia, New Zealand lined up, and Sean just like whips through all these things, gets everything set up, and we had the year mapped out.
I have a couple of people in South America I was trying to hook him up with doing stuff like that.
He did. He wound up getting that all going.
Yeah, exactly.
But
and you guys did Puerto Rico too, right?
Yes.
That was the last show. Yeah.
Yeah.
With just Phil. He did
that. Right. Yeah. That's how were they? Good. Treat you well, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great place. That's what I'm saying. This is going to happen for you, Mister.
Yeah.
It's good to. It's totally. Soon. It feels good to be back, huh?
Hell yeah.
It feels good to be back on the level you deserve. You deserve.
Thank you.
To be back, and people can now see you at because there's so many people. Even when I was out of the band for 10 years, even though I kept myself busy musically, people are always wondering what you really weren't up in the forefront of what Bobbie was doing right now. And there's a lot of fans that are like, wonder what Bobbie G is doing right now, man. Is he still playing? And so for the fans, the older fans, especially the old guys, the guys that have been here that, with us for 45 years, been with the beginning, they love to see this. And I think you really add that much more to knowing you as a player, knowing you as a person and a performer. I can't wait to see this live. I can't wait to see.
It's going to be great.
See this. Now you're out in California this week. What were you doing this week in California? Just working on some stuff?
We were.
Can you talk about it?
Yeah, I got the thumbs up.
Can you talk about it? See, I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at him. That's why I've got. I know. I'll go there.
No, I came out. We did a little bit of new material. We jammed a little bit.
New Vio-lence.
Yeah, and we filmed a video.
Filmed a video for New Vio-lence.
We're not going to say what the name of the cover is.
Yeah, we're not letting everything out yet. But yeah, we came out and we did a video.
But that's good though. It shows
Yeah.
everybody you're working and you're coming out.
Yeah, I mean, everyone basically has stopped working, so it's kind of an idea of giving the fans something to hold them over.
Well, I mean, stop playing
not
live, but not stop
Yeah.
working. Everybody's
No.
writing
Everyone's
feverishly right now.
2021's
I
gonna
bet
be
you
nuts.
21's you're gonna get. They're gonna be a backlog of records waiting to come out because everybody's gonna be so
like
fucking.
5 Bay Area bands on a bill.
I know. Well, we'll have ours. We'll be ready for 221 too.
Yeah.
Seeing the progress. Everybody's looking on social media. Gary and Tom have been getting together lately, and that's the thing. They're locked out, so
Yeah.
a lot of us are going to have. That's going to be a good tour.
Gonna be good
That's going to be
stuff.
good. Vio-lence, Death Angel, Exodus, and Testament.
yeah.
I see it happening. I see this big tour happening in the horizon. I like that.
And that's the one thing I always liked about the Bay Area is that the bands were all working together, all friendly with each other. There was no competition like New York. It was like you didn't
You know,
go.
it's funny that you say that because I did Metal Allegiance not this last January in 2000, but in 19 I did it, and Blitz was singing on the show, and me and Chuck walked in and we saw Osageda and we saw Alex and Phil, who are all Bay Area guys, and we're all, what's up? We're all hugging each other. He goes, and Blitz even made the comment. He goes, see, all of the West Coast, all of the Bay Area guys,
Yeah.
all are cool. There's there's no hey, there's no shade or we're better than them and fuck those guys. And
Yeah.
we want each other to succeed, and we know where each other sit on the pecking order. So it's not like
and
we're
you've all
trying to
been
say
in
we're-
almost the same band at
Exactly.
one point or
Believe
another.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's definitely. So it's. I think it's, especially now in my age. I know there was a time where fuck those guys. We got to step on them and believe in this. I'm pulling for everyone.
Yeah.
I want you to be successful.
grow up a little.
When I hear that you join, when I hear that Vio-lence is back, when I hear that Death Angel is nominated for a Grammy,
Yep.
when I am jumping for joy. When I hear whatever Metallica does good, anything that Testament, anything, any one of the boys of us here are doing, I feel very proud. Even Journey or Santana, any Bay Area people, I feel like that's my home. These are my people.
Yeah.
This is where I came from. I came from this music scene, even though I'm maybe not that genre, but I came from that, and I'm very proud. And the metal scene here, like you've seen, is this. If you would have played those gigs, it would have been at the Metro. It would have been 1986 Ruthie's Inn. Was the atmosphere. It was balls out, man, and it was so much fun. And I was so looking forward to this, and I think everybody was.
Yeah, we'll
And
just
it really brought
reschedule.
everybody back.
yeah, we'll have to reschedule, but we'll be back.
So hey, tell everybody where they can get. If they're interested in Bobbie Gustafson, where's your socials? You on Instagram? Are you on Facebook?
Yeah, I did Facebook for years. I got Instagram and Twitter, which I don't do too much. But
Now they only let you say so much, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
Don't restrict me. I got shit to
too
say.
much crap on there.
Exactly.
But yeah,
Because you're back now. Now
Yeah.
the people that watch, they're gonna love this. This goes all over the world, and people are gonna see this and go, "Wow, how?" Because there's a lot of people that don't even know you're playing with Vio-lence yet. Really?
Really?
Some people don't know.
have to get on it.
Have to get on, but I'm glad you're. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, man.
It's great
Good
to
to see
have
you.
you, man. It's good to have you. You guys, and that means you guys, leave me all the comments that you can. Of course, subscribe and share my channel. And when you are watching it, watch it not on your dumb phone. If you have to at work, I get it. Watch it on the big screen. I think my face looks much better when it's on the big screen. Thank you once again for coming in, my brother. We can
Very
do this
welcome.
again because
Yes, we will.
now you're now you're Bay Area. So when the record comes out, I'm gonna have all you mugs
Bi-coastal.
back in there. We're gonna talk about that.
You know it.
That's awesome.
You know it.
Right on, guys. Okay, so another episode here. Mr. Bobbie Gustafson. He's now a member of Vio-lence. And we'll see you real soon. And we'll see you guys real soon in Zetro's Toxic Vault.